Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising. Welcome to my channel. It is such a blessing to be here with you, so thank you for being here with me for your January 2024 Tarotscope. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to connect with you today. In the description box below, you will find links to information on personal readings, the Soul Good membership channel on Telegram, and ways to support the work I do here if you would like to explore any of those options. You will also find a timestamp if you would like to jump to the start of your reading. Please do keep in mind this is a collective reading, not a personal reading, so use your discernment and take only what resonates with you. If you find that something shared does resonate, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment below, and or share this content, as it tells YouTube that there may be something valuable here for someone else, which is a gift to both this channel and to others as well, and I greatly appreciate that support. January kicks off 2024, a number 8 year, encouraging us to step into our personal power, to have faith in our own abilities, and use them to their highest potential. These are some of the themes that we're going to be exploring for this month's Tarotscope, looking at your overall energy, what new level of power and inner strength is being ignited from within you, what's gaining momentum for you this month, and getting some advice or messages to best support and serve you and your journey moving forward. If you have been here before, this month's Tarotscope is going to look a little bit different. I love using strictly oracle cards from time to time. I do it a lot in my membership channel, and that's what I'm going to be doing here for this Tarotscope. I do have tarot out in case I need some clarity, but you guys, it's been so much fun using just the oracle, so let's get to it and see what is coming through for you this month. Please, Father, Mother, Life, Christ, Universe, Spirits, Guides, Angels, our cosmic team, our ancestors, our higher selves, tell us about the overall energy of January 2024 for Capricorn. Tell us, please, about the overall energy of January 2024. Thank you. Oh, and that one as well. Okay, tell us, please, what new level of power and inner strength is being ignited from within Capricorn this month? Yes. Okay. Quite a few cards there. All right, tell us, please, what's gaining momentum for Capricorn this month? Okay. And tell us, please, what advice or messages will best support and serve Capricorn and their journey moving forward? Wow. Lots of power coming through for you. Whoa. Okay. Let me grab these. And down here on the floor. All right, which? Those. Okay. All right. Lots of power coming through for you for these messages and advice. All right, Capricorn, the overall energy for you for January 2024. We do have here come to the edge, the number 36. Now, I do feel like with this energy, Capricorn, I feel like you are on the cusp of completing a phase or nearing the completion of a phase. I do feel like this is a transitionary period for you. And I feel as though with this come to the edge card, you are being asked to go beyond your limits, which I feel like is going to be incredibly challenging because there's a certain level of surrender. There's a certain level of releasing control. And I do feel like that's going to bring about some of the more shadowy aspects of your nature, right? Really bringing forward potentially some perhaps cynical or fearful energies, asking you to address some of your more shadowy bits, if you will. But it is bringing forward this energy of a leap of faith. If you can see here, she is like floating on this tiny little piece of land or of a building or rock or whatever it is. And she's right on the edge and she's dancing with this, you know, how do I say? Yes, thank you. She's dancing with this opportunity, right? She's really being encouraged to go beyond her limits and to push past some of those things that may have been holding her back, again, in order to transition, in order to move into a new space. 36 does reduce to 9, which is, what I've been sharing, or rather is an energy of what I've been sharing with you about this kind of transition, this nearing completion, right? 9 comes before 10, of course. 10 is a number of completing cycles, of things coming full circle and moving forward. So I do feel, again, the overall energy is asking you to come to the edge, to really push beyond your limits and to take a leap of faith. I really do feel that there's the message here of following your heart as well, with all of these little hearts floating around her. Trusting your intuition, trusting your heart, trusting what is being spoken through you from God. Okay, maybe you call it source, universe, whatever. I call it God, so that's what I'm going to refer to it as. But insert whatever word resonates there with you. I feel like, there's this need to really connect with that very deeply and to allow it to move you and lead you. And it is likely that if you do this, it will bring you to the edge of your comfort zone, and it will ask you to press on, to keep going forward, right? To proceed, which again, I feel like is going to bring some shadowy bits to the surface. We have here for you as well, never ending story, the number 37. Yeah, again, it's really trying to bring this completion of a cycle. There's a need here to get out of perhaps some victim mentality, some self-limiting beliefs, really looking at or going within to figure out what are some of the things that are, what are some of the things that you're holding on to that are preventing you from letting things go? Here's the thing about Capricorn, and as a Capricorn rising, I can speak to this from my own experiences. There's a certain level of Capricorn of almost like an expectation, right? Because Capricorn is so strategic, I feel like it pays attention to patterns, right? That Capricornian nature really sees those and pulls those out and uses it to move forward, right? Trying to make very practical decisions, not to repeat the same mistakes over and over, which can be very, very helpful, certainly. However, if we sink into these things and we kind of let them rule us or run our lives, we can take on this more pessimistic, cynical, fearful, very kind of rigid view on things, right? And so I do feel that you're being called to really address these things, to really look at them very deeply and to see where they are limiting you, right? This can be with certain trauma, wounding, programming, certain belief systems, patterns that you have taken on. So I would encourage, should you choose, of course, to be paying attention to your thought processes, your thought patterns. And are those patterns that you are following, if you will, or the patterns that you've adhered to, are they thoughts? Are they encouraging you to grow, to evolve, or are they holding you back? Are they limiting you? Are they preventing you from seeing potential? Are they preventing you from, really moving forward, even if there is fear present, even if there are challenges present, even if there are obstacles? Now, this isn't about that kind of hustle culture, right? Which is a more shadowy aspect of Capricorn, where it's like, I'm just pulling my bootstraps up and I'm just going to keep pushing forward. That's not what this is really about. Okay, it's more about recognizing where these certain ways of being can prevent you or limit you, and taking into consideration the wisdom and knowledge that you've gained, surrendering to the unknown, but moving into that again with that wisdom, right? So it's not that what I've learned is going to box me in and keep me in this way of thinking, but rather I'm going to move forward into the unknown and use what I've learned to help me along the way. I hope that makes sense. And interestingly, right, we go 36, 37. So this is meant to be evolving you, and certainly to take you to that next step where you do complete this phase, right? Where you do leave things behind and move forward. Capricorn, I feel like it's the time for you to close a book, not just a chapter, but a book, and to begin writing a new one where you are not operating from, how do I say this? So there's this energy of essentially writing an entire new book where you are, again, using the wisdom that you've gained as you move along your path, but not, how do I say this? Not living in the same story. Okay? I hope that makes sense. I really do, because there's there's a big energy here of releasing. There's a big energy of letting things go, right? And freeing yourself from old versions of you, which means essentially, and I'm almost certain that I have brought this up to you before, it's not about repeating the same stories. And I don't mean repeating them by living them out. I mean telling yourself the same story over and over and over and over and over again, because you are telling your brain this is the only thing, or this is the only way that this story can unfold. And there has to be this expansion of your mind, of your consciousness, to welcome in new stories, which I feel like is what has been kind of keeping you on this hamster wheel, or kind of keeping you running in circles, or on this treadmill where you're just kind of repeating the same things over and over and over. And you may have even said to yourself, like, I've been doing this, right? Like, I've experienced this over and over and over again. Like, the same things keep happening. And it's because you're meant to be learning from those experiences, taking that wisdom and moving forward, versus allowing those to be the only story that's available to you. Or do you know what I'm saying? I hope this makes sense. But the overall energy really is trying to move you from one way to another, from one life to another, from one book to another. It's time to write a new story, not a new chapter, not a new page, a new story entirely, which again really does require this surrender of control. And I feel like for some of you, that's super cringy, right? Like, that act of surrendering is super cringy. It's like, oh, good God, you want me to do what? Because I feel like Capricorn really admires that structure, right? Really admires the whole kind of blueprint, the whole kind of layout, and knowing the things. But if you really want to experience a new life, Capricorn, you're going to have to kind of toss out the old blueprints. Otherwise, you're just following the same plan over and over and over again, right? Ooh, yes, we have here the fates, the number 17. I love this for you because I do feel like there are things that are being divinely orchestrated for you to move into a new way of being. And what's beautiful about this number 17 is that in the tarot, 17 is the star. This is that whole kind of rebuilding energy. It's that whole energy of healing things and moving forward in faith and in hope. It's reformation. Yeah? So here's the other thing, okay? It's also kind of this energy of unpredictable change. And I feel like this is what is available to you should you come to the edge and choose to start writing a new story, to release that control, right? That rebuilding is available to you. It's not like you're just going to rewrite, how do I say? It's not like you're just stepping into this new story and like nothing's going to come of it. Right? It's a rebuilding process. It's going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to feel unsettling. It's probably going to feel a bit unstable, until you find your feet, until you learn how to move in that new story. But again, if you want new experiences, this is something that you're going to have to be open to. Certainly, it's your choice. You don't have to do that. But if this is something you're looking for or have been looking for, this is where that new level of consciousness, that ability to see new perspectives, is going to have to come in. But if you continue telling yourself the same stories, right? If you continue staying stuck in those loops and not opening yourself up to anything else, it's going to be the same thing. right? What is that quote? I believe it's from Albert Einstein. Like, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. And that doesn't just go for how you're moving in your life. This also goes to, or this is also something that is very deeply connected with how you think, with what you believe. And if you believe that there is no other way for something to turn out because you've experienced something similar before, you're going to get the same results. Truly. Because you're not allowing for anything else. Right? There's this whole kind of energy, Capricorn, of stepping out of this way of thinking of like expecting the worst or believing that the worst is going to happen. That is looking at the glass as half empty. And I know strategically that's very practical. It's very logical. But again, this is about a complete kind of change, writing a new story, and instead, pardon me, of seeing the glass as half empty and all of the things that can go wrong, seeing it as half full. And instead looking for all of the ways it can go right. Right? Leaving behind that more kind of pessimistic, cynical way of being. And, interestingly, 17 reduces to 8, which is a number of change. It is the number of rebirth. And as I shared in the beginning of this video, it is the number of stepping into our personal power, having faith in our abilities, and using them to their highest potential. You can't do that if you stay in the same box. Okay? We have here for you as well, wow, interesting, the number 9, Treasure Island. And, it's very interesting because there's this counting up energy, both with 36, 37 or 9, 10, and now here with 17, 8, and then 9, right? Everything is coming to this place to bring you to that transition, to bring you to that new beginning. Okay? And with Treasure Island, the thing of it is, Capricorn, is that the keys, the treasure, you carry that. You carry it. One of the difficulties that I feel, at least in my own experience, again, as a Capricorn rising, that I seem to kind of run into is that whole kind of very physical or material or literal or external, I feel like is probably the best way to put it, that external seeking of solutions. And that there are times that I feel like we are meant to be acting externally, and in the sense of taking action in a particular direction. However, in this case, it feels more like turning that spotlight inward, right? Recognizing that the solutions that you seek are within you, which brings me back to what we were speaking on here with coming to the edge and never ending story. It's about changing that internal dialogue to create external change. And this is not just, woo talk. Okay? Like, yes, certainly there is a spiritual underlying thing going on here. But your brain, like when you tell yourself something repeatedly, you create neural pathways in your brain, and then your brain will seek that out, that belief out, that path out every single time you experience something similar. So if you have this kind of negative way of looking at things, or this pessimistic, cynical way of looking at things, or fearful way of looking at things, your brain will seek that out to show it to you. So there's a whole kind of retraining of your brain, a retraining of your thought processes, of the way you think and move and live and be, that is being encouraged here, right? Really seeing that what you seek is within you. You hold the treasure. So the solutions you seek are within you. If you want external change, start changing your inner world, right? That whole concept of as within, so without, as above, so below applies here. Again, because your brain will seek these things out. If you wake up in an attitude of gratitude and you're constantly grabbing and looking for the things that are going right, your brain is going to seek out the things that are going right. More things to be grateful for. If you are constantly seeking out, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, your brain similarly is going to seek those things out. So you create your reality in that way. And your brain does not know the difference between what is real and what is not. Right? So again, I feel like the overall energy for you, Capricorn, is really trying to get you into a new story. But you have to be this active participant, because it's not going to change until you do. Take it as it resonates, as with everything I say on this channel and anywhere else, on any of my platforms, but this is how it's coming through. So what new level of of power and inner strength is being ignited from within you, Capricorn? We do have here the Exorcist in the upright or light attribute position, freeing yourself and others of destructive impulses. Yeah. Because that more kind of pessimistic, cynical way of thinking is not serving you, right? It's keeping you confined in a place where you're just, how do I say this? You're just subjecting yourself to the same things over and over that are limiting and preventing your evolution and growth on both physical and spiritual levels. Right? So I feel like this new level of power or new level of strength that's being ignited from within you is the ability to face your own demons, to face your own darkness, to face your shadow, to realize, oh, actually, this is what I need to do to free myself from this. And as I do that, it will impact the world around me. I feel like January for you, Capricorn, is really bringing to the forefront some of the more shadowy bits, which certainly aligns with what has come through. As far as I can tell, I'm no astrologer, but as far as I can tell, and from the little bit of research that I've done, this whole Pluto and Capricorn transit over the last 15 years or so has really put you through some lessons. It's really put you through some things to illuminate different aspects of yourself, which is very Pluto. And I feel like January is really kind of, hey, what did you learn? Did you know what I'm saying? That's what it feels like. It feels like, hey, now that you've seen all of these things, it's time to move forward in a new way. It's time to make those changes if you have not already. We do have here the Messiah in the upright or light attribute position, serving humanity with humility. So I just want to kind of tap into this more shadowy bit, because I feel like this plays a part, and this has actually happened in many of the Tarotscopes for this month. So in the shadow attribute, this Messiah card says, exaggerated belief that you are the only means through which a cause can succeed. And I feel like this is really speaking to that very rigid way of thinking. Okay? Or that kind of, how would I say, that more kind of cynical way of looking at things, where it's like this situation can only go this way because it's what I've experienced, it's what I've learned. Not being open to other things, other possible solutions, right? Other ways of succeeding. There's a really big need here to understand, I feel, Capricorn, especially in regards to your external relationships, that everyone is their own individual soul. Everyone is at their own place in their own journey. Some are further ahead, some are further behind, and we kind of have to let them just do their thing. I don't know why that is coming through. I don't know who that's for, but it's certainly, there is this whole kind of, we've got to let people be. We don't know what is best for people. We really don't. No matter how much we would like to think that, regardless of who that is in our experience. That is very much a conversation or an understanding that is held between that individual and God. Because again, each person houses a soul, and each soul is on their own journey. Each soul has its own karmas, its own lessons, its own, its own evolution to go through. And if we're sitting around trying to lord over people saying, I know what's best for you, we are not allowing them to grow the way that they need to, evolve the way that they need to. And we don't always know the answer. We don't always know what's best for someone else. Certainly we can see, certain perhaps physical world or material world things, external world things that strategically would make sense from a very human place, from a very physical place. But as far as the soul is concerned, that's a whole nother story. And we cannot force or make anyone do anything. That's very shadowy indeed, right? That's a very shadow Capricorn hierarchy type of energy. So I feel again that new level of power and inner strength that's being ignited from within you is that compassion, or can be that compassion, right? As you free yourself from your own demons, as you heal your own things, as you learn to see things from different perspectives and gain new levels of awareness, new levels of consciousness, I feel like it really could ignite this new level of compassion, this new level of humility, this new level of understanding from within you. This is really fascinating. Okay, we also have for you in the reverse or shadow attribute position, the wounded child. Blames all dysfunctional relationships on childhood wounds, resists moving on through forgiveness. I feel like this is something that's really being brought to the forefront for you, which really speaks to what I was picking up on already about kind of this is the only way it can go, right? It's because we're holding on to those wounds, we're holding on to those experiences and not allowing for there to be something different to come of it, not allowing things to be better or to be improved or to work, right? It's a very kind of, like I was saying, a very kind of pessimistic or cynical way of looking at things. And I feel like this is something that is being brought to light for you. I mean, it's not easy. I'm not for a moment going to say that this is something that is easy to address. But again, if you want to experience something, you've got something different, you've got to move on from what was. You've got to stop, living in the same story. There has to be the opportunity for a new one. Otherwise, you're just going to keep getting the same experience. So I do feel that, this kind of resistance to that forgiveness, to moving on through forgiveness, is something that's being brought to the forefront, right? It also goes very much along with this ability to be facing your own demons, to free yourself from those things, to shed light on those things, to realize how that trauma, that wounding, that darkness, that shadow is in the driver's seat, right? Where it's really controlling your thought processes. It's controlling your emotions. It's controlling how you move. It's controlling how you are. And these are things, Capricorn, like it's not pick on Capricorn month. These are things that we all have to face as individuals, right? Our more shadowy bits that are calling the shots from behind the scenes. Addressing those and, choosing to move differently. So here's what it says in the light attribute, okay, which is, again, so it's in the shadow, but I feel like this is being brought to your attention so that it can be ignited or changed into something that is actually powerful for you. Okay? It says, awakens compassion and desire to serve other wounded children, opens the learning path of forgiveness. So again, this is meant to be awakening that compassion within you, that understanding, right? So let me just, I'll turn it around, but it is in the shadow. You know, and again, I feel like this exorcist energy, Messiah energy is what is really bringing this to the forefront for you and illuminating it to you. I'm getting fear as well, which I do certainly feel, you know, the fears are going to be something that have to be faced. And if I'm being very, very honest, at least in my own experience, and as far as I can tell, the fears of ourself are, how do I say this? The fear of facing our own darkness, our own shadow, our own demons is one of the biggest fears. People would rather jump out of a plane than look at themselves and how they've contributed to their own suffering, how they've contributed to the suffering of others. Right? And they would rather live in that pain than forgive themselves, to work through it. Like this is just something that is very common as far as I can tell. So again, it's not just you, Capricorn. Please do understand that. This is certainly something that we all, anyone who wants to evolve, has to experience. Facing our own shadow, facing our own demons. We also have here for you the goddess in the shadow or the reverse position. Exploitation of the female nature and form. I feel like more so what's coming through here. So in the light attribute, it says the feminine expressed through wisdom, nature, life force, and sensuality. And I feel like, again, here's the thing, okay? How do I say? You hold a certain level of knowledge, Capricorn, certainly. In all of your life experiences, in this incarnation and in others, you've amassed a certain level of knowledge. Right? You've gained a lot. But the key isn't to use that to lord over others or to expect that, how do I say, or to dominate over others, expecting that what you have learned is the same for someone else, because we are so different. And so where this goddess energy comes in is bringing in that natural, sacred, or divine feminine energy that, again, is one of understanding, tenderness, kindness, compassion. It is one of certainly surrender, and it is one of unconditional love. Which means, and I don't mean to sound condescending, but it means that regardless of what is happening, what has transpired, what has unfolded, that love is present. Right? It means that even if you choose to go this way when I feel like this way is the best, still going to love you. Right? You guys, I feel like this is probably going to be triggering for some people, certainly. Again, please only take what resonates with you. It's very important to discern that. Do not make this your story if it isn't. But, you know, the devil in the tarot, right? In your typical tarot, it shows the devil with chains around people, right? It's lording over people, saying like, you do this or else. And that is not unconditional love, which is not in alignment, right? That is a more shadow aspect. that is not in alignment with that sacred, divine, natural, feminine energy of unconditional love. Now, I want to be very clear, unconditional love, and just so you know, this feminine energy applies to both those of the female and male gender. It does not matter which gender you are. We hold both of these energies. Okay? So I feel this, how do I say, this like calling to open you up to those more feminine aspects, right? To really acknowledge that unconditional love, to really understand what that means. And again, I'm not coming at this from a condescending place. I'm just reading the energy. So don't shoot the messenger, okay? But I feel like this is what is trying to be shown to you. You know, to move from that place of unconditional love through wisdom and compassion versus, you know, this rigid kind of dominating kind of energy of, you know, being more controlling. Like there's a lot here, Capricorn, about releasing control. And for some of you, I don't even know if you realize how much that is prevalent in your life. Like I can feel I can feel some of you like you don't know what you're talking about. Okay, maybe I don't. Maybe this isn't for you. Right? But I feel like some of you don't even realize how much this kind of way of thinking and being and how these more shadowy aspects really do have control. Whew. I feel like you're being asked to nurture these more feminine aspects, right? That compassion, that tenderness, that unconditional love. We also have here the mentor in the upright or light attribute position, passing on wisdom and refining a student's character. Yeah, Capricorn, there's a difference between passing on wisdom and trying to be the authority figure over someone else because you think you know best. Right? There's a huge difference. And operating from that place of you should do what I'm saying because I know best is very egoic. Very egoic. And again, you know, your story is not the same as anyone else's. Your perspectives based on what you've experienced are you know, not the same as anyone else's. Certainly you can have similar experiences, but there's not a single person on this planet, not one, that has the same perspective as you. Not exactly the same, because they have not lived your experience. And that's something that I feel is you're being asked to come to understand. And thereby, what can be ignited within you from an incredibly beautiful place, might I add, is passing on wisdom through compassion, through love and understanding, versus this is what needs to be done. And again, as the Capricorn rising, it's very easy to get caught up in that I know best and you should listen to me. I hope this is making sense for those that, you know, it resonates with. And you know, I'm not saying these things, Capricorn, to be critical or to be judgy. Again, we've all, like, We've either all been there or we will all be there eventually, where we have to come face to face with these things, where we have to acknowledge, if you will, the devil that resides within us, the darkness that resides within us, our own ability to be tyrannical and dominating, our own ability to be very rigid and miserly or pessimistic or cynical or fearful, or, to have these extreme conditions placed on ourselves and people that we care about. Like, these are facets that we have to face within ourselves. We all have to come face to face with our own ego. And we all have to learn how to release control. We all have to learn how to free ourselves from our own darkness. So, again, this is not like pick on Capricorn month. But I do feel that the energies and what has transpired, especially over the last 15, 16 years, is kind of coming to a head, if you will. I really do feel that there is a chapter here that is wanting to be closed for you. But it is going to require you to get out of your comfort zone and to have a lot of faith and to allow yourself to heal and see the beauty of your own heart, the power of your own heart, the power of love, the power of kindness, the power of compassion. Okay? So let's take a look, Capricorn, at what is gaining momentum for you this month. We do have here, share your voice, come out of the cave, persecution, expression. Yeah, I really feel like this is about you leaving your comfort zone. I'm going to be honest. We have come to the edge and now we have come out of the cave, right? So I do feel like the energy is encouraging you and gaining momentum towards you taking that leap, stepping out of that comfort zone, stepping out of what you've known, and opening up to a whole new world. It's got like Aladdin vibes written all over it if you've ever seen the animated Disney movie. Right? It's like, come out of what you've always known and step into a new world. Step into a new way of being. There's this whole kind of energy of like, how do I say this? Like, you can't be the king if you have the mentality of a slave. Does that make sense? Or you can't be the king if you have the mentality of a prisoner. Right? You can't be free if you have the mentality of living in a box. I hope this is making sense, because I feel like this is what is gaining momentum for you. I feel like you are being encouraged to come out of your comfort zone and to experience something completely different, even if that means facing challenge, even if that means turbulent waters. And again, this isn't about like pull your bootstraps up, hustle bustle, like the hustle bustle culture. Okay? Because that whole kind of that is a very wounded place to operate from. I'm just going to be honest, and I've been there. Again, as Capricorn rising, I've been there. The struggle is real. It is so freaking real. But it's more about, instead of just pushing through the challenges and obstacles, it's about navigating them. I hope this makes sense, because there's a lot of times where we experience challenge and hardship and obstacles and turbulent waters and things like this, and we're like, I just want to get through it, so I'm just pushing just to get through it. But we don't address how those things have impacted us, how those things have, like how we've been affected by them. We just push through. And that's more of a fragmenting, very kind of spiritual bypassing way of doing things, because we're meant to, right? If we're authentically healing, all of these challenges and obstacles and things that we face all have lessons within them, especially about ourselves, right? So all of the things that we experience as we're going through these obstacles and challenges, all of the emotions that rise up within us, all of the different aspects of whatever challenges we're facing, all have things to teach us. And if we're just like putting our nose to the grindstone and pulling our bootstraps up and just trying to get on the other side of it without really taking in any of the lessons that are being taught to us, we're going to find ourselves repeating them. Because it's kind of how this works. Again, take what resonates with you. I'm just the messenger. We have here get grounded, empaths, highly sensitives, connect with nature. I feel like this is about you connecting with your true nature, Capricorn. And I feel like this is what's gaining momentum for you, right? Because regardless of your zodiac sign, we are all souls. We're all souls. We all have a heart. We all have emotions. That is our true nature. And I feel like this is about, again, what's gaining momentum for you is to reconnect with that, to reconnect with your more empathic side, your more sensitive side. Again, that feminine energy. I mean, for crying out loud, you have all female energies here. Again, whether you're of the male or female gender is irrelevant. There's a lot of female energy here as well. And it's about balancing that masculine, assertive, confident, strong, responsible, logical energy with that feminine, compassionate, intuitive, understanding, unconditionally loving, surrendering, emotional side. It's balance between the two. So I feel as though what's gaining momentum for you is, again, connecting more deeply with your true nature, which is both, right? It's both. It's both being strategic and allowing. Okay? It's being both driven, okay? And what is the word? Driven and also like in a state of ease. Okay. I hope this is making sense. But I feel, this is, I feel like what's gaining momentum again is trying to bring you back to your true nature, which is a balance of both of these energies within you. I feel like for some of you, you've been living more from that more masculine side. And now it's time to bring it back into balance. You may want to look into this more deeply, via your own research. The qualities and characteristics of, that natural or divine or sacred feminine masculine, and what those look like in their strengths or in their natural states and in their more toxic or shadow states. Okay. We have here Sisterhood of the Rose, Beauty and Devotion, Priestess, Mystic, Teacher. I feel like there's this big encouragement for you, Capricorn, to be seeking out the beautiful things in life and creating them. So not only looking for beauty in life and in your experiences, but also creating beauty where you are, right? Really embodying that more Christ consciousness energy, which, it's, and I'm not speaking from a, very dogmatic religious perspective. It's more of an esoteric Christianity, okay? But I feel like it really is aligning with that Christ consciousness energy, with the Christ impulse within you, right? Which is in alignment or is more centered in love, kindness, compassion, understanding. I mean, think about this. Like, I really want to try to put this into perspective on how this is coming through for me, for you. there's this whole energy of, we've all experienced trauma, wounding, betrayal, heartbreak, suffering, pain, to varying degrees. We've all experienced it. Christ was betrayed, tortured, and murdered, and did nothing wrong, and was still able to be compassionate and be loving, unconditionally so, and was able to find forgiveness. Now, I know some of us have this perspective or perception of Christ where it's like, okay, well, Christ is God. Okay, but Christ was fully human and fully God, or fully divine. He was fully human, so he felt all of the emotions of being a human being. Okay? So to say, oh, Christ, like, don't get me wrong, you guys, Christ is an incredibly exalted being, right? And Jesus was an incredibly advanced human being that could house the Christ within him. So don't get me wrong, okay? I want to acknowledge that, but we hold Christ within us. We carry Christ within us. We carry God within us. We are human, clearly, and we can choose to align with that. We can choose to embody Christ within us. We can choose to allow that Christ impulse within us to move through us, to work through us. So even though you may be going over these things in your head, like, all of these things have happened, and this is why I think this way, and XYZ, which is fair. I'm not trying to invalidate anything that you've experienced by any means whatsoever. But I am saying that we hold within us a choice, the ability to choose forgiveness and to choose love or not, and let darkness consume us. So I feel, again, what's gaining momentum for you is to be seeking out beauty and love and these sorts of things wherever you go, and to also be cultivating it in every environment that you're in through acts of love and compassion and kindness and forgiveness and grace and understanding. Oh, your guys' reading is so massive. It's a pretty heavy energy. But I feel like you're on this precipice of something really incredible, Capricorn, if you allow yourself to be reborn through these energies. Because it feels like what you have the opportunity to release here is just this huge, huge weight, this huge, huge, huge burden that it feels like you've probably been carrying around for a very long time, if you resonate with this. Like, I feel like you probably could, like, if you resonate with this, I feel like you would probably compare yourself to, like, Atlas, or you may have said something along the lines of, like, I feel like the weight of the world is on my shoulders. How am I supposed to carry all this on my own? Or I've been doing this by myself, or something like that. And so I feel like whatever's trying to be released here for you, the cycle that's trying to close, is trying to get you to take that weight off, to release that weight. Yeah, dance with life. Do something different to change do something to change your energy. Yes. Yes. I feel like this is about you coming to this understanding and this awareness that you have the power within you to choose. To choose. God gave you free will, and it's not just about choosing what kind of shoes you want to wear. You get to choose whether your experiences define you or you define them. And you can choose to let them define you and control you and have power over you, Or you can choose to say, oh, no, 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 I'm defining them. I've learned things here. And instead of looking at all of the things that have been taken from me, I can look at what it's given me. I can turn that into wisdom, and I can use that to not only guide me, but to be to recognize what I've experienced myself, and to be compassionate toward other people, because I know what it's like to suffer. I know what it's like to be betrayed. I know what it's like to live in pain and heartbreak. Right? There's a beautiful opportunity here for you if you allow. If you allow. But it is going to take a radical act of surrender. And that I mean, and I'm not gonna, dance around the the fact that that's not easy. We do have here as well Anna, grandmother of Jesus, seeding the light, laying foundations, divine plan. I think a big part of this is what's gaining momentum for, like I said, right? It's facing that shadow and turning it into light. Facing your pain and your trauma and your wounding, and turning it into love and forgiveness and compassion and understanding. I know I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but it's what's coming through. What's gaining momentum for you is laying foundations for a new way of being. And I think it's freaking incredible that this Jesus energy is showing up, because I feel like it's really speaking to that call for you to be more aligned with Christ consciousness. Because I feel like it is encouraging you, again, to move out of this way of being, right? That's been what seems to be, based on the cards, very repetitive, very, cyclic. And to lay foundations for like I said in the beginning, an entire new book for you, an entire new experience, which, is this energy of, like your God's plan for you is, divine plan for you is not for you to suffer endlessly and to just drag all of this baggage and burdens and to struggle. You're like, that's not the point. That's not God's plan for you. We are supposed to, we're supposed to experience things, learn from them, and move on from them, taking that wisdom with us. So again, I feel like what's gaining momentum for you is an entire new experience, a whole new world that is being offered to you. This is what's gaining momentum through all of the unfoldings of all of these things that I've been talking about over the past, almost hour. For you to see the world with new eyes, from a place of light. Of light. What is light? Love. Again, kindness, harmony, unity, wisdom. Not just knowledge, but wisdom. I don't know why I'm getting this either, and for this is likely to be for someone very specific. But I feel like for some of you, there's this energy of like a grandmother presence, of someone who has probably passed on. That I feel like if you have felt that coming through, that there's probably something here for you within this reading. I don't know why that is. So if it resonates, cool. If not, leave it for someone else. But I feel like there's a grandmother kind of presence spiritually, on a like a loved one passed on kind of level. And they may be holding other things for you if you open up to whatever messages they have to share. Again, if this resonates with you. All right, let's look at the messages that'll best support and serve you, Capricorn, and your journey moving forward. You are protected, Archangel Michael. Thank you, Michael, for surrounding me with your protective light. You know, I feel like part of the message coming through here is because I feel like there are some of you out there who may be feeling like you're being punished. And the truth of the matter is that's not the truth. I feel like actually what's really going on here is you're being protected from your own destructive impulses. And it may feel, you know, because we've taken on this belief and programming that we are unworthy, that we are, you know, infantile, that we are these nasty little creatures, you know, sinful, running around the planet. Because we've taken on this programming and this belief, you may be feeling like you're being punished. That's not how God works. Not from my perspective. These things happen, these things are shown to us in order for us to move away from them, from things that can be harmful and detrimental to us, whether that be our own thoughts, our own patterns, our own experiences, things we're holding on to, or if that's people, places, situations. I mean, you can insert whatever here, but there are a multitude of things that we align with that really aren't serving us, that are destructive to us, to our soul, to our heart, to our light. And I feel as though the message that's coming here the message that's coming through here for you, Capricorn, is you're not being punished, you're being protected. This is for your protection, to protect you from yourself and or others. We also have here, focus your mind. Thank you, angels, for helping me to focus on my priorities. You know, there's something here about, it's interesting, because I don't know that I've ever really got this energy with this card before. Maybe I have and I'm just not remembering, but there's this whole kind of energy coming through of focusing on what matters. Okay? And at the end of the day, what really matters is love. What really matters is being loving. Love is, you know, like one of the most powerful forces. And this is what matters. This is a priority. This should be our first priority, is love in all things we do, whether that be for ourselves or others. And so there's this message coming through, Capricorn, for you to focus on what matters in every situation you face. Okay, what matters? So, you know, if you're engaging with other people, for example, right, because we have this kind of energy of like lording over people and telling people like, I know what's best. I'm not saying that that's your story, okay? I'm just, instead of coming at it from a place of I know better than you, come at these interactions from a place of love first. And then move. Right? And then act. Then speak. And if you can't do that, then don't speak at all. If you can't do that, then don't act at all. I feel like the focus here is love, unconditional love, and empathy, and compassion, and I know I'm repetitive, you guys, but this is what I feel like, again, in your everyday experience and your interactions with yourself and with others. If it's not coming from a place of unconditional love, don't do it. Right? I mean, I feel like there's some of you like, okay. But I mean, the world would be I think at the very least we can agree if you don't resonate with what I'm saying here, I feel like at the very least we can agree that the world would be a much, much, much better place if we all moved in that way, right? Is it coming from love? No? Okay, I'm not doing it then. Am I speaking from love, or am I speaking from, I know more, or I'm ticked off, or I feel betrayed, or I'm hurt, or I'm pained, or, whatever it is? No? Like if that's where it's coming from, we're not talking. we're not taking action, right? We have here spirit animal. Thank you, Animal Kingdom, for blessing my path with love. I do feel like there are probably animals that are showing up in your reality, whether that be your dreams, your virtual reality, or your actual physical reality, that do probably carry messages for you. And I feel like you could probably tap into that if you let yourself. I feel like there are some of you who are like, okay. But, I feel like for example, if you're seeing the same animal over and over, or you're dreaming about the same animal over and over, I feel like you could delve deeper into that, seek resources. I'm getting a lot of fear here. Seek resources. Maybe there's some Native American story or wisdom that can be that you can find that will open you up to what these messages may hold for you. I mean, certainly I would always encourage, because you are very knowledgeable in your like your own intuition, is full of wisdom. And so you could certainly just tap in, right? Open yourself up and ask, what is this animal trying to share with me? And then trusting whatever message comes through there for you. But if you're someone who's very kind of resistant to that, or maybe you find it kind of silly, or, whatever the story is, you could certainly research that for yourself. Looking into, any culture really, but there's this Native American on the frontier, and I feel like there's something there. So, another part of this I feel is you are supported. Maybe you just haven't recognized it. Especially again, if you're very resistant to this whole kind of concept of having a spirit animal. But I do feel that you have support from the animal kingdom. And they probably do have messages to share with you. And opening to those could be very helpful and beneficial for you in ways that you probably would never expect. Finally, we have Earth Angel. Yes, thank you, angels, for inspiring me to be more like you. Absolutely. Absolutely. This has been truly, I mean, this is a beautiful card to wrap up your reading with, because I feel like it's an embodiment of everything we've been talking about over the past, hour and 8 minutes. Is really, embodying this Earth Angel energy. Is really moving from that place, living from that place. And, a lot of us have this kind of belief that we're small and we can't create change in the world. But the truth is, with every action that we take, we can and do impact the world. And if you are someone, even in your own little corner, are moving from love in everything that you do, that ripples out in ways that you probably could never imagine or expect, and may not even ever really know fully from this earthly perspective. So, I feel like these messages that are coming through here for you are encouraging you to the best of your ability to move and embody that more earthly angel energy, and to share that with others. Certainly these things take time, but again, an easy way to start is just by asking yourself, is this coming from love? And if it's not, then don't do it. Don't do it. Whether it's love for yourself or love for someone else or something else. I want to read from the guidebook for you what's written here about this earth angel energy before we close out your reading. So before I read this, I'm getting this message dropping in of, I feel like some of you have this kind of wall up around yourself and what you give, what you share with the world as far as your heart is concerned, as far as your true authentic self is concerned, as far as your emotions are concerned, as far as opening yourself up to receiving, these sorts of things. And I feel as though there's a part of this that is asking you to do that. To open yourself up and to share your love with the world. Like, you don't have to be fearful of doing that. You know, if people choose to hurt or betray you, that's on them. They're going to have to answer for that. They're going to have to atone for that. That is one of the demons they will have to face. So why rob yourself of experiencing beautiful, amazing, lovely, wonderful, magnificent things that life has to offer? Why do that? It's just something that I had drop in that I wanted to share. But this says here, the angels are so grateful for all of your positive thoughts and the actions you do for others. They want you to take some time to see how amazing you are as a person. They are so blessed to have someone like you helping them do their work here on earth. You are an angel of the earth. Thank you. Instead of working out what you want in your next life, ask yourself these simple questions. How can I be of service? How can I first serve myself? And how can I extend my help to others? When you have the answers, know that they are guidance from your angels. They want you to be just like them. And by living your life in a balanced way for yourself first, and then for others, you will become a living, breathing angel. I mean, and really, you know, when we bring ourselves into balance, when we focus on doing and connecting with our truest, deepest selves, we become so much better for other people. We really, really do. And maybe that's where some of this, you know, is coming from. Some of this weight is coming from, Capricorn. Right? Because maybe in the past you have given a lot to other people or situations, and perhaps have not given, which I'm pretty sure has come up in a reading for you, by the way, and have not given to yourself, which may have, because here's the thing, Capricorn, you treat people how to treat you. You do. The way you treat yourself is how you treat others to treat you. And if you are someone who has been neglecting yourself, you know, perhaps there's been this buildup of this more kind of, you know, cynical or maybe negative outlook on things, because this is how you've taught people to treat you, and it's just wore you down over and over and over again. And I feel like it's time to give back to yourself and to heal yourself from these things, so you can start to see the true beautiful value that you are, that is you, and can teach people how to treat you. I read a book called Christ Returns, and in that book, this is someone who is, you know, channeling Christ And in the book, it says, if you want to experience more love in the world, essentially, I'm definitely paraphrasing here, but essentially it's whatever it is you want to experience more of, give that first. Because it is basically adapting or in alignment with that whole concept of as within, so without. So if you want to experience more love in the world, give more love. If you want to experience acceptance, accept others. If you want to experience kindness, be kind. Because man cannot escape what he says, does, or woman cannot escape what we say, think, do, feel, and believe. Right? So again, it's like whatever it is you want to experience, be that. Be that. And you will draw more of that to you. But if you're expecting that, most people are going to betray you, take advantage of you, wrong you or harm you in some way, that is essentially what you're asking to receive. You're like putting in an order with the universe, right? So again, please, please, please only take what resonates with you, because this has been quite an intense reading, and I know that it's not going to resonate with everyone. So, use your discernment. Do not make it your story and create more healing for yourself if it's not your story. You will know within your own being what is true for you and what is not. Certainly, again, use your discernment. Ask yourself, okay? And be very honest and transparent to the best of your ability. Right? You want to make sure that you're getting answers from your intuition, not your ego, or not your lower egoic drives, especially. And only take what resonates with you. Okay? Because this is pretty heavy. But I pray, Capricorn, that what I've shared here with you today is helpful for those that resonate with it. I pray that it provides you some kind of value in navigating your journey now and moving forward. I pray that you are able to move into a brand new book, understanding that you are a co-author of that book and you have this incredible power within you to write and be a part of each line of the story that you are writing, that a new beginning is on the horizon for you, should you allow, and that this month is really about moving you to a place where you're laying foundations for a new way of being, where there is a lot of love, a lot of kindness, a lot of compassion, and happiness and joy that awaits as you move forward. Take care of your courageous, beautiful, magnificent, loving, growing soul. Peace be with you and within you, and I hope to see you in another video. Bye.